Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk Studios,
here's TJ McCormack.
Really? Hey.
UFOs, cults, aliens, societies, sterling secrets.
The hidden layer of our existence revealed. Walter Sterling from the Red Apple Audio Network.
There's Robert Clotworthy in Los Angeles. Welcome, Robert. Robert is the voice of the History Channel. Robert is the voice of Ancient Aliens. He is the voice of Oak Island Gold. And he is a good friend of mine. He has given us tremendous production support like this.
The hidden layer of our existence revealed. Walter Sterling from the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's amazing. The man does things like that on one take. But what I wanted to talk to Robert Clotworthy tonight about is the amazing body of work he has done to voice the Ancient Aliens, the Ancient Alien shows, and to determine its impact on your life. Robert, welcome to the Giant Radio Show. Welcome to the Red Apple Audio Network, a nationwide network of giant 50,000 watt and big FM radio stations. Hi, Robert.
Wow, that's welcome. Hey, thank you very much. This is terrific. I always enjoy speaking with you.
And I enjoy speaking with you. How many seasons of Ancient Aliens have there been?
We are in our 18th season. We've done close to 300 episodes now. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
And I think it just gets better and better. The shows we've got coming up in this season are terrific, and there's already talk of a season 19. So I mean, come on, we're not going to stop. We can't stop.
All right, now because of the generosity of your time, please share with us some of the episodes that are coming up, some of the topics that are coming up worth looking forward to. What are some of the things you'd like to talk up?
Well, I know we're doing a show about the pyramids, but because there's new information that's coming out, and that's going to be pretty fascinating. I'm looking forward to that one. That's probably my favorite. I just love everything about that, the mysteries that are associated with it, how those things could have been built, why they were built, where they are located, and that the longitude is exactly the speed of light in meters per second, which is a crazy thing. It's exciting. Every time I go into the studio, it's new information.
Now, do you feel, as I do, that guy who's head of the Egyptian antiquities is a major stumbling block in learning more about the pyramids, or does he know everything and doesn't want to tell?
From my perspective, yeah, we've had some roadblocks. We've had some issues getting the information, but we're not going to stop. Come on. I mean, curiosity is going to drive us, and we're going to get that information out.
Right. Now, what you're going to reveal about the pyramids, I know you're not going to share tonight, but over all the seasons and all the narrations and all the scripts you've gone through about the pyramids, one or two things about the pyramids that really struck you that like, whoa, this is a major surprise to me.
Well, it's interesting. First of all, that stat that it's the speed of light meters per second, that's either the latitude or longitude. If you look it up, you look at it, 37 points, 37 numbers past the decimal point, it's exact. I also had a conversation with a fellow who is an expert on stone making, and he said that in his estimation, the perfection He went out there with like a stone measuring tool, the perfection that's associated with it to make everything exactly as accurate as it is nearly impossible to do. In fact, I asked him, I said, if you had unlimited budget, you had all the technology that's available now, how long would it take you to build a pyramid? I thought he would say, well, it would take 100 years. He said, we couldn't make it. We have a hard time delivering countertops that are perfect. Just to think that we could build a pyramid like that. And he thought that it was purposely designed to look old. Like it was like distressed in a way, purposely to throw you off.
Like a set.
Because almost like a set. And we're finding more and more information. I think I just read something the other day that they think there's all these chambers underneath the pyramids that they haven't explored yet, didn't even know were there.
What about the theory that was presented on your show that they were not quarried? These were made out of molds. This was a molten material poured into a mold, and then when it hardened, it looked like granite.
Yeah, I talked to this stone guy about that, and he felt that it was, in a way, that's the only way you could possibly do it. But the amount of heat that you would need to generate to cause this stone to become somewhat molten, so you could manipulate it like that. That's a technology that they certainly didn't have at that time. That's really rough to do, and to do it on that scale is insane.
Robert Clotworthy, the voice of Ancient Aliens, the voice of Oak Island Gold, or the curse of Oak Island Gold, or as you pointed out, all gold on the History Channel seems to be cursed. Curse of the Civil War gold, curse of Hitler's gold. It's all cursed. What other?
That's a spin.
What other episodes should we look forward to besides the pyramid ones?
Oh my goodness! I think we're doing an episode about, I want to say, George Knapp. So we're exploring all kinds of information. I don't have the list in front of me. I don't want to know what they are necessarily. I go in there and I'm surprised and think, oh, this is fascinating. This is cool. Oh, I know we did one. It was very, very recent about underwater exploration. At say for example, the Chinese, I think, are building a structure underneath the ocean so that they can explore what's happening down there. And what's happening underneath the oceans, the seas, the rivers, the lakes are truly fascinating. That's something that we have not explored yet. There's a lot of stuff on Earth that we have not even begun to explore and question. So that's another one I found to be quite fascinating.
Robert Clotworthy, the voice of Ancient Aliens, the voice of the History Channel. In the ratings, which topics always win?
Well, we used to do, we would affectionately call this the Halloween episode, one that has a little bit scary, a little bit creepy, and those are some of my favorites. One where we kind of tweak it a little bit to kind of add that element to it. So those are some of my favorites. My absolute personal favorite of all time has to do with the moon, because I find the moon to be absolutely fascinating. It just makes no sense as to why it is, where it is, why it is. And those are my favorite episodes.
Do you believe it is a artificial satellite?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
I've spoken to people who say they've heard the ringing of the moon, that it is hollow. And these are people that worked at NASA, and that NASA had set up these devices on the surface of the moon to, I guess, monitor to see if there were moonquakes.
Right.
And when the LEM module would crash into the moon, they actually heard the moon vibrate, and it would vibrate for a long period of time. So I think there's a very, very good possibility that it is. And also, this NASA scientist said that the craters in the moon, you would expect them to be much deeper than they are. They're not. There's all kinds of questions. She has actually seen structures on the moon, photographs of structures on the moon. So I think there's a lot of questions about the moon that a lot of people have answers to that we just haven't been aware of yet.
Well, I heard Robert Clotworthy on one of the scripts say there's references in mythology of a time before the moon, that there are references in our shared oral history of people telling stories about a time before the moon, that it was put there. And the other thing that fascinates me about the moon is I am so ashamed of myself. As a broadcaster, a person said this on my show, and I didn't catch it. There was a NASA payload specialist, a NASA space station payload expert, and she was retired, and a killer guest like you. And I said to her, why haven't we gone back? This is before everybody was asking, why haven't we gone back? It was like 8 years ago. I said, why haven't we gone back? And she said the script. She said, because the plans we had for going to the moon have been taken home by scientists, thrown away. We sold off the land under the booster rockets. We trashed a lot of the booster rockets, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they've all said, almost in the same order. I can't believe I didn't say to her, wait a minute. We spent 20 years getting there, and we let the scientists take home the plans, and the ones they didn't take home got thrown away. Are you kidding me? And I didn't say that, but it makes no sense that we can't remember after 50 years how to get there. But I did ask her another question, Robert, that you can bring up to your producers, which seems like a fair question that no one else has asked. I said to her, has there been sex in space? And she said, yes. She said there was a married couple on the space station. There's a part of the space station with no camera or microphone, and I believe there was sex in space. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe that as well. And my whole issue with the moon, I asked the question, is it possible? Could it be? What if it were true? Those are the three questions we want answered.
It can't be true. And then the other evidence, the conversation about did we actually go at all? The most damning evidence that we didn't actually go at all is that press conference with the three astronauts right after they came home, and they all looked miserable. They didn't look excited. You've seen that with Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. They were sitting there like comatose.
Well, I think, and I've spoken to people, that something happened up there, and that's why they were that way. You would think that if you go to the moon and you come back, you're a hero, you're going to talk about it. Neil Armstrong wouldn't talk to his children about it. I think something happened up there. And from what I understand from people who've worked at NASA, who have gone to parties and talked to astronauts, that's a common theme. They all have seen or experienced something out there that they cannot explain.
But do they describe? Have any of them described what they saw?
Well, yeah, I think I told you that I spoke to Ron Evans, who was the command module of Apollo 16, was followed around the moon for about 4.5 orbits. It was about 8 hours where this strange object, with cigar-shaped object, followed him in formation. And he not only took photographs of it, which have not been seen, he took video of it that has not been seen. He also drew pictures of it that have never been seen. And I spoke to somebody who spoke to him personally when he landed back on Earth in the support ship that picked him up in the ocean. And he described what he saw and said, this is not Russian. It's not American. I don't know what it was, but I'd never seen anything like that before in his life.
I don't understand why, as part of discovery, as part of doing a scientific expedition, we wouldn't have been in a fever to reveal what he saw. Look, this is what we discovered. It's part of the mission. We wanted to find out everything we could, and then we find out this major event, and they won't talk about it. Isn't that weird?
It's weird, and I asked her, what is the mindset at NASA? And she told me that at NASA, we just gather the information. Then we pass that off to the Brain Trust. They determine what it is, and they talk about it. In fact, she went to a meeting where she was told, nobody talks about this.
That's amazing. It really is. Robert Clotworthy, the voice of the History Channel. Is there a History Channel, an Ancient Alien Con coming up again, another convention that you're going to be at?
Not in the near future. For some reason, they've kind of put a hold on alien cons. Hopefully, it would be coming back. I know they've had those ancient alien tours with Giorgio and William Henry and sometimes David Childress. Those are still going. I know they have one happening in, I think, Santa Fe in about a month. Hopefully, that will continue because that's a terrific show. And fingers crossed, they're going to bring back Alien Con, and we're going to be touring and going around and visiting people and talking to the fans, because it's a great thrill, and the fans love it, and we love doing it.
David Childress is a hoot, because whenever he's asked anything that's a little tricky, his answer is always the same. He always gets flustered, and his cheeks get even bigger. And he goes, isn't it possible that this has been considered for some time? It always starts with, isn't it possible? And I'm like, I don't know, David, you're supposed to be the expert there, buddy. And the other thing I have to brag about for you, Robert, is that my radio friends, my voiceover talent friends, last time Robert Clotworthy was on this show, he revealed the fact that his director-producer in the voiceover studio made an investment for him of a many $1,000 Neumann microphone. And I'm like, I am so jealous of that. I am just so jealous of that. What did he give you again? What did he give you? Oh,
there's like an MV40. I'm trying to remember what they are, because there's 4 or 5 of them there. And I asked him the other day, I said, how much money have you spent on this? And it's actually the engineer at the studio, not the producer. And he estimated it was probably between $20,000 and $30,000 in microphones. And I think I sent you a photograph of the setup, and it's insane. I feel like I'm at a press conference, and the sound is so beautiful. It's
incredible.
Perfect. There's absolute. The sound floor is it's perfect. It's we describe it as it just sounds like cream. It's just like liquid cream. It's just beautiful. It's just a wonderful setup.
Yeah, well, that would be your voice, buddy. Robert Clotworthy.
Thank you.
The voice of Ancient Aliens, the voice of the History Channel. Thank you very much for being on Sterling on the Red Apple Odyssey. No, let me get this right. On the Red Apple Audio Network.
Just play my promo. I said it right.
You did say it right. You always say it right.
The hidden layer of our existence revealed. Walter Sterling from the Red Apple Audio Network.
That guy's good.
He's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
You bet. It's 22 past the hour, 23 past the hour with Walter Sterling on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.